Hello and welcome back. How are you, Isaiah?
Hello, I'm fine, Dada. What about you?
Very fine as well. How are you, Amos?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I thank God since last time. Yeah, I'm doing well. I hope you are also doing fine.
Yeah, I'm also fine. Welcome back to this session again as we try to engage our viewers. Thanks to our viewers for those who have been spreading our gospel, spreading our channel out there. If you are enjoying this and you think there are some people who will enjoy it as well, please share with them and subscribe. Remember to subscribe, follow us on TikTok and on Facebook as well. On YouTube, you can find us at the Worldview Podcast _God. It's the same on TikTok, but on Facebook, you can find us on Afanda Baraka God. So on Facebook and TikTok is where our full videos are, but on TikTok, there are just some clips which you can also enjoy if you want to watch the short clips. So today we are here again. We want to talk about something interesting. We want to talk about addiction. Last time we were talking about a thing to do with we were talking about first loyalty. Then we went ahead and talked about what was it about? The last discussion.
The last was if the death is the
Yeah.
ultimate goal of life.
Okay, yeah. The ultimate goal of life. So if you have not watched these videos, you can find them on our YouTube channel and Facebook. And they're interesting. So if you want to see some of our very interesting videos, you can go there. So today we want to talk about addiction. First things first. What is addiction according to you, Isaiah?
Uh, According to me, addiction is now when you lack discipline and there's something you're using. For instance, now when you are used to using X or scrolling, you just scroll and forget you're supposed to go to work or even eat. You over scroll, and you cannot control it. Now that's what I term as addiction.
Yeah, is over dependence on something. You know, some people are addicted, but they don't know they are addicted to things.
Yeah.
What about you, Amos? How do you know? How do you define addiction?
Yeah, okay. To me, addiction is a state of where someone cannot do without something, where they deeply depend on that, either knowingly or unknowingly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Once you are used to something too much that you cannot let go, I think that's addiction. People are even used to some people. You hear someone say, I'm addicted to you, and they cannot live. Even if it's toxic, they keep on going back to their bad behaviors. So to me, addiction is when you cannot do without something, even if it's negatively affecting you. You don't you don't quit. And that's my definition of addiction. Second, what are the types of addictions that you know, Isaiah?
Types of addiction.
Yeah.
I don't think for me there are maybe the types of maybe if I just term it they are the ones like in the definition of Amos, the ones you willingly, maybe it's a substance you are using, and there are those that you have just been addicted without knowing. Maybe those are the two types I know. I don't know if they are the ones that have been documented.
Okay. And examples, can you mention a few?
For example, substance abuse is like when now you are used to using something like liquor and you cannot stay without it. When you wake up in the morning, your body quenches for it. You just want to have a sip so that your day can go on as you had planned. If you do not take it, maybe you become like a zombie. Or those who use heroin, hard drugs now like heroin or fentanyl, something like that. Now the addiction unknowingly is that which you Maybe you have a certain group of people and you're used to staying with them without knowing. Maybe when you just wake up in the morning, you go and join them, something of that sort.
Okay. What about you, Amos? Do you know any types of addiction and examples?
Yeah, I don't know if the addiction is categorized. Me, I only know addiction as a called term where,
Sorry.
yeah, as I was saying,
Yeah.
I don't know if addiction has been categorized. I only know the broad definition of addiction. Maybe and examples. I don't know the types.
Okay. All right. What examples do you know?
So there are different types of addiction. For instance, the one that Isaiah said,
Yeah.
you can use an example of tobacco, cigarette, where once you started using cigarettes and you get addicted, you'll
Yeah.
keep on using and depending on it. That's one type of that. No, another type of addiction, which recently I find it to be very awkward, is one can also be to sex, where they like most of their time they feel like doing it or wanting it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So those are very good definitions and types. So there are different types of addiction. There's substance addiction, like Isaiah said. He mentioned it as an example, but it's a type. There are two major types of addiction. There's behavioral and there's substance addiction. Substance is where you are addicted to now something that can be measured from the labs, like drugs, nicotine, caffeine, inhalant, those things that trigger your brain and can be measured from your blood. But behavioral are now the type of addiction that stem from your behaviors. You now are used to doing something and then you cannot quit. These are like examples, maybe like gaming, gambling, social media addiction, sex and pornography, shopping, food addiction, work addiction. You can be addicted to work, exercise. Some people spend all their day, all their time in the gym. So they are addicted. Then there are these other emerging addictions, such as porn addiction, love addiction, or self-harm addiction, where self-harm can relate with emotional. You release emotions through harming yourself. Maybe someone has broken your heart. Now you try to hurt yourself to recover from the heartbreak. So these are just the types of addiction that I know about. So let's now begin the session officially. Have you been addicted to something that you know is a major addiction that you want to share out there, Isaiah?
Yeah, I think I've been addicted for some years. I had been addicted to alcohol. I'm still recovering. I don't know if I've recovered fully. You cannot know if you have recovered in isolation. Maybe if they can take you back to the band, you refuse drinking now for some time. That's when you know that you have recovered. I was addicted to drinking alcohol.
Okay, you are addicted to alcohol.
Uh,
Yeah, and any other drug maybe, or it's just alcohol?
Alcohol, marijuana, to me, it was nothing. It was not giving me any satisfaction. It was not that good to me.
Okay, let's say it did not favor you, did not go very well with you.
To me, when I used to use marijuana, it would actually I would sleep. You know, when you are using drugs, you want to be hyperactive, not sleep.
All right.
Mm.
And Okay, we'll get back to you in a short while. What about you, Amos? Have you been addicted to anything in life before?
Yeah, surprisingly, when I was still in high school, I used to be addicted to tea.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. When I wake up and by any chance maybe I forget or I don't take tea, I might experience some headache or migraine, which will necessitate me then to take tea for me to be okay. But thank God I've came that addiction, and now I can even go once tea. Yeah, that's the
You must be
that's the major addiction that I have had in my life apart from love, which is story for another day.
not story for another day, it's story for today. If you have been addicted to someone, not let's say not love, it's
I
someone.
like
So
I
yeah.
I that as addiction or infatuation, but no, there was
That
that
one is
girl
obsession.
or obsession, yeah. But there was that girl that if someone told me that maybe I could see her,
Ah,
I felt like my heart and my brain and my everything was burning. So like I couldn't go a day without seeing her or talking to her. So I don't know if that qualifies as addiction, obsession, or stupidity.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
an emerging addiction that people
it
don't talk about mainly, but it's an addiction because you can even be addicted to a toxic person. Someone is maybe exploiting you, but you cannot live
yeah.
without them. Yeah. So it's an
Amos
addiction.
was addicted.
Yeah, in some way you may have been addicted. So back to you, Isaiah. You said you were addicted to alcohol and you tried marijuana, but it did not work well with you. So why did marijuana not work well with you? Why do you think what happened when you used it for the first or for the few times you did?
Marijuana, for me, marijuana for the first time I used it, I was in university. I had some group of friends, some from back in the village and some now that I had gotten from the university. Uh, it was just like somebody introducing you to something new. Said, "Are you? I know you're used to alcohol, but you can try this. I think this will serve you better." So I tried it, but while still experimenting, I saw it's. But then I just told myself that it is better for me to use one thing that I'm actually comfortable with. That I've seen people use it. Marijuana comes with many things. Back in the village, they used to say that those using marijuana can even kill people after using marijuana, or even maybe till an acre of land alone. But while using it, mine did not stimulate me to do anything of that sort. So it did not resonate to whatever I wanted. It did not give me pleasure. I think it only stimulated sleep, of which I was not interested with sleeping. Sleeping was not a
Okay,
problem then. Yeah.
okay. And there's this stereotype people say when you take marijuana, you become more active. Is it true?
I think it depends with whatever you have put in mind to achieve. You cannot just
Okay,
become active without maybe if you don't have a goal. There are those that take marijuana. It stimulates them to now they eat up. They get appetite to eat. Others
yeah.
use marijuana and then they just relax. It's now time to meditate. It was that was a common term people used to say that I'm just meditating. You just find the guy he has just relaxed. Even he's sitting in the bathroom at that he's meditating after using marijuana. But I don't think it's that harmful as people purport it.
Okay,
If actually used in the right way, according to what I had experienced, it can be something that can even relax you after a long day of work. But unfortunately, it's hard to use it that way.
okay. And is it true that it makes you have more appetite?
It depends now if Yeah, appetite depends with what you have. It actually depends with whatever you have set out to achieve. For me back then, I was having maybe, I don't know, it's anorexia. There's a disorder I had. I was not interested in eating at all. I never wanted to become overweight. So I never actually had an appetite. But to some, it
Yeah.
actually evoked appetite in them.
All right.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, marijuana, it's cannabis, and it has this compound called THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol. Cannabinol, yeah, cannabinol, tetrahydrocannabinol. That's the compound in it. So THC is what makes people high, from my own research. And I had a friend who used to smoke a lot of marijuana, and something funny, he used to laugh a lot. I don't know how it relates. Is it part of the effects, or did you used to laugh a lot, or did you see someone
Yeah,
laughing?
yeah. For us, everything would become funny after using marijuana. Even if you just see a fly passing, I think it becomes very funny. You just see it as a very funny creature. Even if a person walks around, you just start laughing. Yeah, I think it's just a thing of relaxing the mind. But I don't know actually how it made the people laugh, but it can actually cure depression at some point.
Okay, I think
You
that's
can
what
laugh.
makes, yeah, that effect is what makes people want it more, because this tetrahydrocannabinol, it makes you become hyperactive in some way. You become more
Yeah.
social, and then there's this feeling of the high feeling. People don't know about marijuana, but what I saw from my this close friend of mine was, once he smoked, he became very relaxed.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of euphoria and relaxation in this person, that they just become calm. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Some people, they take it and they do too much work. But some people, most of the people I've seen, is they just become relaxed. Their
Yeah.
eyes become lazy. Now they're high. Their eyes become red and lazy. So I
Become
don't know
sleepy.
much about it. Yeah. So, but you, at least you've enlightened us a little bit about it. I started with cannabis because you are not addicted to it. What
Yeah,
about
it's
you,
not that.
Amos? You know, some people see you with your dreadlocks and they say the culture. You are in the culture. You are in the weed
They have.
culture. Have you tried the herb? Have you tried cannabis?
Unfortunately, I haven't tried, but I have some few friends like Isa here and others who have used it. And
Yeah.
that you are telling me, to some extent, they are very true. For
Yeah.
instance, I have friends who, when after smoking, can even eat 8 chapatis. Do
Yeah.
you see those that they have? We call it katakata.
Yeah.
They have sliced 8 chapatis and added bean soup. Yeah, and to some, cannabis acts as it gives them courage. So,
Yeah.
like for when someone is shy or they are in a party and they are shy, after smoking, they get that courage. They become outgoing. They can even socialize with others. They can even talk to other gender if initially they had problem. Then to some, yeah, I can see others, especially those who goes to mjengo. Do you know mjengo construction?
Yeah.
So according to their theories that after smoking, they become energized and they are able to do maybe a piece of work that could even take maybe 5 people to complete it within 4 hours. They can do it 2 people within 2 hours. So depending on your nature, I can is react with people differently. Like what my friend Isa said, like for him it was sleeping.
Yeah.
To some, it is being energized. To others, it is being outgoing. To some, it is being, having appetite.
Yeah.
So I also depend with your chemical, the chemicals in your brain, so that they can react with the THC, and you can have some different outcome.
Okay. So
But okay, what is common across all the people, as Isaiah said, it
yeah.
is, oh, mostly they feel high.
Yeah.
Ah, they feel high. They are able to meditate, and yeah, actually, that's what is common across most people.
Okay. I've not taken marijuana before as well, but I was in a very toxic environment at some point. While in high school, I don't know why some parents don't know this, but access to marijuana is so high in high schools, and especially alcohol and marijuana. You are very lucky that you are addicted to caffeine in tea, which is common in most people out here. But I will not call it much lucky because it also has its side effects. However, marijuana, in my interaction with those people, there was a time one of my friends was given one roll of marijuana, and then it was his first time to do it. And all of a sudden, this guy became hyperactive. He was anxious and he was sweating a lot. And I imagined he was in some form of anxiety or paranoia because he was seeing things that they were not unimaginable. He was somehow impaired. So, Isaiah, is this one of the effects? Because I was so shocked with this guy at that point.
I think that's one of the effects. It goes, I think it reacts with people differently, as Amos has stated.
Yeah,
But for me, I've used with many people. It could react with people differently. It just depends. There are some people we used to call them weak
yeah,
because now that's a person who maybe he can use marijuana and start screaming, "Ah, I'm mad. I'm seeing ghosts." There are people it can bring hallucinations. In fact, that's the one thing that you don't know about marijuana. There's some point my let me say just my close ally. He was using it quite oftenly. We used to live together. The
yeah,
guy could start screaming at night like a baby that he has seen ghosts. You see?
yeah,
I even started, that's when now I started telling myself, even if it's being addicted, let me pick something that I can be helped with when indeed I'll need help later on. Because how can you just start screaming like a madman that you have seen a ghost and we are together, me, I've not seen it. You see?
yeah,
And then there are these, using marijuana is actually funny. People always relate to some silly stories that are even not present. Now, if you mix marijuana and something they call in Kenya jab or hat, mira, hey, my
yeah,
friend, you can build castles in the air. At some point, I was using them, both of them now. I started building castles. And then after waking up, now you start asking yourself, now the company that we said we will open, we even don't have rent. How do you start opening that? We're just living a fantasy. It was actually, but it's
Yeah.
just like,
Just to add up, I
yeah,
remember there's this friend of mine. I don't know if it's true or false. He used to tell me that his first time taking marijuana, that he went to the toilet and opened the jacket and unzipped the jacket instead of the trouser. So instead of the trouser, he unzipped the jacket and then he started urinating. Then after this, he zipped back the jacket and got out, and his friends were were, were made because they and urinate
It
himself. So
it is actually it is actually true, Amos.
beginners, to beginners or first timers, depending on the amount that you have taken, can
Yeah.
really can have some bad negative side effect. Because I even remember one of my friends, that was a female. Yeah, during her first time, she pocketed. Then she started shouting that she's not seeing her left hand, which she
Yeah,
has
that is
pocketed.
common.
It as Isaiah said, it some hallucination effect, seeing things that they are not there, or things which are, and start exaggerating them. So I think on your blood, yeah,
Yeah.
the blood now it will determine on how you will react after, yeah, after smoking.
Yeah.
Okay.
If to add on
You
that,
know,
Gadi.
one of the negative effects that I found out according to World Health Organization is it leads to short-term memory.
Yeah.
Short-term, like you can put your hand in the pocket as you've said, and then you forget that you put it in your pocket.
But she's not seeing her. It was her left hand, saying someone has took it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
and then
That for me, at some point, when I was still now back in campus again, there's
yeah,
a time I remember I used now I smoked. We went to play FIFA now PS. You see, so we were passing each other the blunt. You know, it's chain, eh?
yeah.
Chain. Then I went to actually help myself in the toilet. People were surprised. I was told later on after waking up that people were surprised where I'd gone. You know, I slept in the toilet, and I'd gone to I had gone actually to help myself. Actually, I was this thing. Marijuana is no joke.
When
You
you woke
cannot
up, did
play.
you realize you were
See,
in the toilet?
no, no, no. You know, I just when I just finished using the toilet, and I just remained seated on the actually on the toilet and slept. Hey,
Yeah. Tell us more about that. What happened next?
up next, the gang always say boys are now. They assisted me to go and sleep, but hey, when I woke up, I was I was actually, that there's this saying that they say you cannot shame the unshamed. I
Who wiped your ass?
had already wiped it, though I think so, or else they
Oh,
would have documented.
We remember to wipe it.
And started sleeping on the spot.
okay,
Hey.
okay. So, according to World Health Organization, and I think we are very lucky to have you in this session, Isaiah, because if we did not have a real specimen in this discussion, I don't think it would be a success. So, according to the World Health Organization, the possible desired effects of using marijuana is it leads to relaxation and euphoria. That's the feeling of being high. So when you're anxious, some people use it to calm themselves down. I don't know if you guys have watched some of the videos where people with there's this disease that Muhammad Ali died of, Parkinson's disease, makes you shake a lot. Some people say marijuana helps with it because it helps with the sensory neurons and such. I don't know if it's effective or not, but that's a story for another day. So, according to the World Health Organization, it leads to relaxation and euphoria. It leads to altered perception of time and senses. In this perspective, you can start seeing different colors, perceive it different, or sounds or tastes. So a taste becomes more intense. That's why some people say that after taking marijuana, they eat a lot because their taste sense becomes more. And then it leads to increased sociability and laughter. You become more social, you laugh anyhowly. Then it leads to pain relief and reduced nausea. And then it heightens your appetite. Okay. Then the possible negative effects, it leads to short-term memory problems. the ones we've just talked about. You have put your hand in the pocket, you don't know where your hand is anymore. You even cry, where's my hand? And then, like Isaiah says, he went to the toilet and forgot he was in the toilet and slept there. Then it leads to difficulty concentrating and learning, impaired coordination. So when you're driving, it's unsafe for you because coordination is quite slow. And then it leads to anxiety, paranoia, and panic attacks. Maybe that's what I saw in one of my friends. Because when he took it, he even went to sleep with his shoes. And in high school, there's a place where we used to put our heads, and the other place you put your legs. Like we used to sleep in halls, not cubes. So everyone knows this side is for legs, this side is for the head. It's like a prison. Then this guy, he put his head on the side of the legs, and then he slept with the shoes. He put on he put on jackets and sweaters, and also put a blanket on himself. And he was very afraid, and he slept like that. So I think this is one of the effects. And then when you see someone has dry mouth and red eyes, possibility of taking marijuana is very high in that person. Yeah, he might have taken marijuana. Then it also leads to increased heart rate. Then the funniest thing is, I had a friend at campus who used to take a lot of marijuana. And at some point, I told him you might lose your senses in the end. And something funny is, unfortunately, this guy went on to be insane. And it's a sad story because he had a time to change, but it was unfortunate he did not. So, according to the World Health Organization as well, the long-term effects of marijuana is you might lose your, you might go insane, you might lose your capability to think straight because you are at the risk of mental health problems. It increases depression and causes psychosis or something. So,
Yeah.
and also 1 in 10 users have the possibility of being addicted. So, and today I don't think this is a very correct information because today most people in the world are addicted to marijuana, unfortunately. Okay. It also leads to some respiratory problems because of the smoke. And also dependence leads to motivation issues. You depend on the drug to be motivated. So those are the kind of effects that I came across in my research. So thank you, Isaiah, for helping us understand more about marijuana. According to you, would you recommend, or let me say, what would you tell someone who is now starting to take marijuana or is trying? What would you tell this person, Isaiah, from your experience?
From my experience, it's really hard now to convince a person who has already tested it to stop using it because by then they are experiencing maybe some advantages like they are high, mostly
Yeah.
in third world countries, maybe even in developed countries. Most of the youths are they don't have a sense of direction. Maybe most of us are usually depressed. Even at some point you don't know, you lack awareness. But for anybody who is using it for the first time, it would be actually beneficial for you to
It,
visit a rehab center and to know a person who has been using a drug or is having psychosis, how long do they take to recover? So that you
yeah.
can know when it actually gets you to on the edge, how long will it take? Even some people, it's hard for them to be rehabilitated because it's you have to accept, and for a person to agree that you are an addict, it's actually it's a big call. For me, I never accepted that. It took me long. I was telling myself every year, I'm actually going to stop using these drugs every year. But now you find yourself you're in the same environment, and it really becomes a tough call on anyone. So for a person who has not yet started, there is no need of starting. There are many ways of relaxing. You can actually start walking outside or go swim find, even you can go do karaoke, sing, yeah, find the people, talk to them, something of that sort. I think that's what I think a person who has not started using them should do.
Okay, so from our discussion, I've noted that there are effects, but we have not talked about how it affects other people. So you, Isaiah, you are talking from the experience of effects, the effects it had on you. Amos,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
told me that you have interacted with these people who are using marijuana. What will you tell someone, or what, how did it affect you, and what will you tell someone who wants to try?
Okay, okay. From some of my friends whom I have interacted with who uses marijuana, I can say that marijuana is not a bad thing when used in the right amount and in the right way. So for someone who has just started using marijuana, okay, the best way is not to use it, but if they insist on using it, then I will advise them to use it in the in the right quantity. They should not overdose it, because most negative effects that you have mentioned earlier, they are a result of either addiction or doing marijuana too much. So if they can have that self-esteem, like self-control, and use it in the required amount, then they are good to go. But if they can't, I think the best way is to stop using it or find help immediately before things get worse and they start having negative side effects like hallucination and the others that you have mentioned. Yeah, but from my friends and what I've experienced, marijuana is not a bad thing when used correctly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I think there's some medicinal purpose in it, but how do you know the right quantity? You know, these things, you use them in rolls. How do you know the right quantity?
Okay,
First, I think,
okay, okay,
Like,
the thing that mostly make people to overdose or overdo marijuana is because they want to get the feeling that they first experienced, you know because when you are just starting using marijuana, you are new, your blood is still clean, so the effects, when you feel high, you feel good. So in the long run, people tend to use it in large quantity so that they can achieve that initial feeling. But I can say, for instance, the correct amount is just maybe, according to what I've seen with my friends, just a blunt, a quarter of a blunt, or let's
okay.
say 4 people, one blunt.
Okay, what
But
about you, Isaiah? What do you think?
I think at some point, we are human beings and we like to feel good.
Yeah,
Now, it's actually, you cannot control the level of amount how you want to feel good. The dopamine.
yeah,
That's now whatever, that's what the drugs gives you, the dopamine, if the feel good effect that it gives you. It's
yeah,
like now, those who are addicted to sex, you cannot tell
yeah,
him that he can control that, that he can just actually, with the moment he just goes for one round and he just leaves it there. He has already
yeah.
felt good. Now that's the problem. That's where the issues begin. I think in this thing, it actually calls for discipline, as Amos is stating it, but it's not simple as it's you can see, because there is no actual amount that has been determined by anyone that this one actually can work for you just to relax, not to maybe behave or need to misbehave. There are some people
Yeah.
when they use it, they can misbehave. We have seen in villages back at home where people have killed others because of just using marijuana, and it stimulated them now to go actually and start arguing better. Maybe at first they did not have the arguing points, and now they have
Yeah.
found the courage to carry a panga. This thing, marijuana, for those who can control it, I think, let me state it. I think there is a verse. It's in Proverbs, I think 33 or so. I don't know. It's chapter 33 or so. It just says, it tells us actually what the effects of drugs without even telling us it's drugs. It says that alcohol, it only states alcohol. It says alcohol are for those who are depressed. You
Yeah, the
see,
Bible, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's
For
actually it's
miserable
written,
people.
and miserable people.
Yeah.
So if you cannot, if it's only if you're depressed, maybe you have already been told you can use it. It will
Okay.
actually elevate you.
Yeah. So, but I wouldn't recommend if you're depressed to use it, because that's the moment when you'll be more addicted, because depression doesn't end anyway. When
It's
you, yeah, when you use it and then you're back to your normal state, you'll still be depressed anyway. So, uh, for those who don't know what dopamine is part of the brain. Is like a neurotransmitter that governs the reward and motivation aspect. Take it as reward and motivation in that when you get the reward, you're motivated to do that thing more. So the thing is, it's like when you win a match or a game, then you're rewarded with some amount of money. You'll be more likely to put more effort in the next game to win again, so that you can get the same reward. So dopamine levels increase once you are addicted to something. Let's say marijuana, you felt happy when you took it. So the next time you take it, you want to take more to feel more happier. So my advice would be, if you've not tried it and you are in a stressful situation, do not try it, because you might never be the same again. So thank you very much, guys. I think we need to discuss about marijuana in some episode in future again, because it's a wide topic. It's a very wide topic. Some people will argue that marijuana, they have been using it for all their life and they have been more wiser, more productive. And some people, to some people it's true, to some people it's not. And I think it's a topic we should talk more about. Back to you, Amos. You said you were addicted to caffeine, and out here people don't take caffeine as a very serious form of addiction, and they just take it as tea is normal. We are used to tea, so it's not an addiction. Even parents do not take control of such addictions in their kids or anything. So how did you feel while you were taking tea and caffeine? How did you know you were addicted anyway?
Okay, so at first I didn't know that I was addicted to caffeine
Yeah,
because back at home, the tea was provided every day. Could wake up and tea was ready. So the problem started when I joined campus. Now I
yeah,
was living, and some days I had 7 a.m. classes, so I had to skip tea to attend those classes. Then like you can have a marathon class from 7 to around 11 or 12. So at first, I started missing not taking tea due to those classes. So the problem started like I started having some migraines, headache, like my eyes was straining. So at first I thought maybe it was just I was reading too much.
yeah,
So I started doing some painkillers. But now a friend of mine, when I told him about that problem, he said that the issue might be tea. So the next day, He told me that when you feel those migraine and headache, try to take a cup of tea and then you will see the results. And to true to his words, after taking tea, I felt relieved. Everything returned back to normal. So yeah, so I tried the theory to prove if it was true. So some days I could take tea and there were no migraine or eye straining. Everything was normal. Then some other day I could miss it, and why it was very difficult for me to concentrate in classes. So that is when I realized that caffeine is a very strong addiction, and once one is used to tea, missing it out can really cause some issues. Yeah.
Okay, I think most people don't take more, they don't put more concentration on on caffeine addiction because it doesn't have that much effect. Like it can't kill you, it can't give you some very bad side effects, let me say so. But it's still an addiction like any other. Caffeine and nicotine are the world most non-addictive substances. Like they tend to increase your alertness. There's this part of the brain called the adenosine. The adenosine is what makes you rest, but caffeine and nicotine mostly, it makes you alert. It blocks the adenosine, so you stay alert. Even in cat mirror, it has these parts of uh, it has that that thing that blocks adenosine. So it's good you have enlightened some people. Some people have grandmothers, mothers who cry a lot of headaches. They may not know they are addicted to caffeine and other things. What about you, Isaiah? What can you say about caffeine in tea and its addiction?
Actually, to me, I've never experienced those migraines, or maybe I might have experienced, but I was not attentive at all. But right now, it's like I'm addicted to tea, by the way, like I said. Right now, I'm drinking tea 2 times, yeah, in the morning and in the evening because it's too cold. Uh, and I usually even work sometimes at night, so it really helped me to stay alert.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
that's the required amount or the suggested amount you should take per day. If you reach a point of tolerance where now you need more tea to be more to concentrate at the level that you're used to, I think that's now the addictive stage. So if you're not someone around you who has reached the tolerance level, you can help them by cutting down the amounts they take slowly by slowly. So now I think caffeine is not a very, very addictive thing in tea. Let's go back to alcohol, Isaiah. You were addicted to alcohol at some point in your life. Tell us about it. How did you start and how did you find yourself addicted?
Actually, I started becoming a professional drunkard. Let me say professional because I was like a professional drunkard. I would not stay a day without actually drinking. Even if I had gotten maybe $1 or so, $1 in Kenya is like now 129 shillings or 150 shillings to, yeah. If I'd gotten such an amount, I would first of all go and buy something. So it started when I was back in high school. I was a scholar from Form 2 to Form 3. So my cousin, I had my cousin, let me call him cousin X. He was actually, I think he was a drunkard I've never seen. That guy was serious at work, but he could drink the whole day and night and still wake up and go to work early in the morning. So
Yeah.
he introduced me. I started sipping a little bit now in 2014. You see, now I was back in Form 3. I started sipping. I know you
Yeah.
told me, you just start, eh? And at first it was bitter, but I started drinking Jebel. There was this thought now they could mix with some lemon. Man, that thing when I started get used, I was now used to it now by that time. I would come from school, drink my Jebel, and then I'd just relax and say, "Oh my Lord, oh yeah, yeah, yeah." When just
Yeah.
it was actually it had a cooling effect. I can't. It was really nice. It's just it was fantastic, to say the least. But now, at then I was not addicted. I would drink maybe this week, next week, because now you
Yeah.
see he's the one who is buying, not me. And then now is when I just finished school, the first day after coming from school, the guy now started. He took it serious to a personal. It was a personal project. You see, now he could now suggest we go. Now I was working and getting like I think 500 shillings back in 2016. So you see, I've come from school and I'm not buying anything. That's too much for me. By then, I was just supposed to buy clothes for myself. That's what my mother told me, buy clothes that maybe we were optimistic I'll go to university. They were
Yeah.
telling me to buy some things that and keep some money for myself that I should start preparing to go to university. So I was saving like 300 and I'm left with 200. So when I meet this cousin of mine during the day, we were just walking in the same town. I was working actually in some loading cars that were going back in the day in load were taking goods there, and he was working in the market. And when we could meet during the day, I was skeptical now to use my money. You see, I have a project, and
Yeah.
for him the project was to get me used to drinking, and he really succeeded
Yeah.
because it starts they give you for free at first. There's no drunkard who will tell you to remove your money at first when you're not used to drink. He'll just buy for you voluntarily. He'll volunteer even if he buys for you until you sleep. It's okay. He'll just do it. We call it in Kenya kuzima. He can buy
Yeah.
it for you and then he will carry you safely home. You see.
Yeah.
And now when you wake up, you're saying, this is now my body. But these other guys, they don't see the vision that this guy has for me. Now I'm an adult. You see, we can go party and come back safely. Yeah, that was the point. Now we started at some point when we were still drinking. At this point we went to another area which was not ours. In these slum areas, we have some different levels of slums. Now we went to another area. My cousin had their girlfriend. Reaching in the club, the girlfriend was working in as a club attendant. When we reached at that bar, my friend, somebody had been killed in the bar. Hey. So they had to close the door so that people cannot come inside. We slept with a dead person in that bar. And going home, it was actually dangerous to go back home. Now we had to wait until people have disappeared outside there. We went at home like 3 in the morning, and it was very dangerous. There's a place called Kona. We had to
Yeah.
pass that place, and now when I wake up tomorrow, and I'm just telling myself, I cannot believe I'm actually risking my life just to go and drink every day,
Yeah.
and it had already become a habit. You think that I did stop the next day? Well, now we are used. Now it's now our habit. Now we are going to drink like accustomed singers. Maybe you can think we are going to perform in the club. Until the club, we were just, they could know those two guys. Those are they cannot even go without paying. Those we know them. They'll come back tomorrow. It had reached that point.
Customers. Yeah.
Those are regular customers.
Yeah.
Now when I joined university. I joined university. I lacked a mentor then. He was my mentor. Imagine he was my mentor. He was the one that actually made me understand maths and love maths at some point. So he was like my mentor. Now you can imagine my mentor is already an addict. He used to use Kuber. I'm even lucky he did not try Kuber. I have never tried Kuber at some point. He was using Kuber uh, for him, he did not use marijuana. It was just Kuber and alcohol, but at a pro level, you could think that he is owning those things. I think even you
Yeah.
know him, but
Yeah.
that's a story for another day. Now,
Yeah.
when I reached university, I was totally confused. Now it reached at some point I could wake up and just to I was not I actually joined university and I deferred immediately because I did not like the course that they had given me by KUSUBs. So I just reached in university and I deferred. Then I did
Yeah.
not go back home. I stayed in my hostel. So I'd just wait until maybe 6. I had money until 6. And then now go to the student center. Amos knows it, and you will know it, Annex. Now that was
Yeah.
my chilling point. You know, that's where now
Yeah.
I could see life. If I just bought, I could buy my one faxe and relax, seeing how people enjoy life, dancing, and just tell myself, oh, life is so beautiful, God. I did not know at that point I was suffering.
Yeah.
Then I made friends in campus, and now that's where the problems began. There's at some point we went in Jaikwat, Juja. I
Yeah.
actually went to drink there. I came back in the evening when I've carried my slippers, the sandals that I've had gone with in my hands, and I was just walking like I could die any moment. From gate, if you have gone to KU, I think from gate A to Nyayo, it's like almost how many kilometers is that? 10 kilometers.
Yeah,
It's
it's very
actually
far.
far. It's very
Yeah.
far.
It's like
I walked at
40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes walk.
40. When I woke up to the other day and found I had the phone. Instead now of even quitting the thing, I now told myself, I think now I know my measurements. That is
You
I don't
told
think
yourself, I overdid it. I know I can
I
do
have
better.
now I can do better. I said now, I think I there's something I did wrong. At that day we actually ate well. We ate fried meat, ugali, and there's this myth that when you eat all those that you cannot get drunk. My friend, we were watching the game. It was Man City against Swansea, I think so. When Aguero scored the second goal, that I even don't remember anything else. I just saw myself waking up back in KU, and at that point, it was not even. It was not to me. I did not even reflect and say maybe this is something that is harmful to me. And we went down the years. At some point, I now joined this. My junior cousin came to campus. We joined. I joined now. Started playing handball. I was not. I started playing handball in university. It's like pro level in Kenya because Kenyatta University is a club.
Yeah.
So I became a third goal. At some point, we were just going. These were my buddies. We used to go hanging out with them. For them, they go and play. For me, I'm just accustomed. I've conserved myself, but I used to train karate, so I was that flexible. At some point, they introduced me. Now I started playing the game. That was the only thing that was positive in my drinking career. But the rest is just actually it made me stay in university for that long because I was totally confused. Time was not
Yeah.
flying on my end. Everything was just constant. The world was still, but I was not aware. It is at this point when I decided to now actually to quit alcohol. Nobody told me to quit alcohol. I just there's at some point I went back home. When I reached home,
Yeah.
I think there's this thing as football fans we say the club has outgrown you. I just reached at home now. The things that I used to do did not make sense to me anymore. Those people I used to hang out with did not make sense. I just saw and I just sat down, reflected, and told myself I don't see anything that is worthy of me.
Yeah.
I did not represent progress as people had anticipated of me. Even myself, I was devastated that I cannot even complete a full semester in a year, in academic year, because
Yeah.
now focusing was becoming an issue and excuses are. So I decided that I'll start quitting it. But it was very hard. I can tell you for a fact. I was telling myself like every month, every time I'm quitting, I'm quitting. When I just quit, my friends come with they tell me, why do you quit? Why are you quitting? Let us go. Let's go. We watch a game, drink for the last time, and then we agree it's for the last time. Hey, you think it's the last time? We could go and drink like for a whole month, and then you come back, you are depressed. Hey, now you think, what type of life is this? You even don't think about tomorrow. You're just living there. At some point, even you are just you're just contented with dying. You say, hey, if I die, it's even okay because I'm doing nothing. There's nothing I'm doing. There's no value I'm adding here. You see? And
Yeah.
at some point, even there's my my classmate who we went with him in high school, who was back in KU. At some point, even went to rehab. I thought when I saw him that he's mad, I thought I will even be be surprised or ashamed of drinking. The next day, it's like nothing had happened. I just resumed to normal. It was like whatever I'd seen is not abnormal.
Yeah.
Actually, that's my story of liquor. But and it's not easy to actually quit alcohol or any addiction. It actually calls a lot. People have to help you. But for a fact, I know you have first to agree and come to terms to yourself that you want to quit it. Or else there is nothing that can help you. That's a road that you'll never come back from. Thank you, God,
Yeah.
for
So,
allowing me.
yeah, that's a very interesting story. I know you've cut it short, but we'll
Yeah,
get
cut
back
it.
to you. We'll get back to you. So, Amos, you've been Isaiah's friend since the days of high school, from Form 1 back in 2012. So, you have seen Isaiah grow up, let's say, because you guys were just barely teenagers from them. You saw Isaiah starting taking the alcohol. What was your experience? What did you see? Like, what was his life? Because we have talked about people who are affected and people who get the effects. There's this drinker and then there's people around the drinker. So in Isaiah's case, of course, he had friends. They say someone must introduce you to something. He said his elder cousin introduced him, but he had other people who also helped him continue with the behavior. Tell us a little story about what you saw with Isaiah from high school to the campus level.
No, yeah, I've been lucky to to witness
Yeah.
Isaiah's, and what I can definitely say is, back in the days, Isaiah used to be a true definition of a bad boy. You know, a bad alcohol, smoke marijuana, and
Mhm.
to surprise, many ladies preferred Isaiah because of that lifestyle. We used to like good in Isaiah's life and health, but to them it seems like a good lifestyle. So, like Isaiah said, yeah, the issue started back in high school. I remember Isaiah even used to sneak and go home to drink. Now, okay, high school the problem was not that chronic, but now in campus the problem grew bigger, and I think it affected Isaiah's life, especially education's life negatively, because I think it uh, um, normally in Kenya, university usually takes an average of 4 years to complete a course, apart from engineering, medicine, those others. But now, to Isaiah's case, the addiction was, can say he was a heavy drinker, to a point
Yeah.
that it costed him, I think, another 2 or 3 years. So, like he has explained, like it started small, like a game, going out with your friends, having a few bottles, then coming back. But as time goes by, you find that if you used to have one drink, you start increasing maybe to two to achieve the initial effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to Isaiah, that was the case, because I even remember It was the first day we arrived in KU.
Yes.
I think I even have that video posted somewhere.
Yeah.
Like okay, my life, I don't do alcohol.
Yes.
So that I still remember that day very well. We had just arrived at KU. We had a few coins, you know. So hey, Isaiah, that day he I think it was Faxel, which I don't remember the type of alcohol that he took, but that day he danced almost the whole night. He was very drunk. Some people, and to me it was funny because I had never seen a drunkard person before, and it seemed like cool, and funny at first, but now later it became a big problem because it really costed him his goals, academic goals. I think he even had some other goals like, yeah, to achieve them, but because of alcohol, that could not be possible. So to some people, like if you are not close to someone who's an alcohol, you can see it as a good lifestyle, as funny, and that is unfortunately that is what currently most young people prefer. You know, these young people, like, they see taking alcohol as a fancy lifestyle, as a good lifestyle. They even say those who don't take alcohol, there's a term they refer to them. Like they see you as
Amlena.
a, yeah, they see you as abnormal for not taking alcohol. But let me tell you, when you get addicted to that thing, it become
Mm.
a hell. We share a common friend, me and Isaiah, who was addicted at some point in his life, and I heard some rumors that he back at home he even used to steal just to raise the money to sustain the addiction, the alcohol addiction. So when just someone sees you drinking, they might think that you are living your life, your best life. They might think that that's the best way forward, but actually, to someone who is addicted, or to those who are affected directly, alcohol addiction is not a good thing. Yeah, I have seen several marriages breaking just because of addiction. I have
Yeah.
seen people failing to achieve their goals just because of alcohol addiction. But for Isaiah's case, we thank God. As he has said, I don't know if he's sober now, but actually he has really tried. If I compare Isaiah now and Isaiah back in 2019, 2020, yeah, he has really changed, which is a good progress. And for those who think that taking alcohol is good, I should warn them that that thing might cost you dearly. So to Isaiah's case, yeah, to the outside world, it looked like he was living his life, but to him and to us who are closer to him, actually, alcohol was ruining his life to some extent. And we thank God he's now sober and he's ready to try. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay. And while you saw him begin and also do it, was there a point you tried to tell him to stop?
Now, definitely that's a place that I really failed as a friend,
Yeah.
because, like as I said, to some people, that style looks so good, looks so nice.
Yeah.
So, like, as a friend, I really failed because there is no where or no place where Isaiah was started drinking where maybe I sat him down and told him, no, this bad, this wrong, you know. I really failed because, at first it was really cool and he was a cool guy. Even I used to tell him that I used to like him when he was drunk. He's this kind, he used to
So
be
you
fun.
are one of his enablers.
Yeah, so like, okay, like I really enjoyed the drunk Isaiah more than the sober one because the drunk one had more ideas. It was funny. I really enjoyed the company. So I think this is the kind of life that people fall in
All
love
my
with. But
enemies are suffering. Ah.
All right, all right. Amos, I really like your honesty. I really like your honesty, by the way. And to some people, they don't know how difficult it is to approach your friend and correct them. Sometimes the kind of friends you're surrounded with are all alcoholics. So who will you advise? You're the one who should be advised. In fact, they advise you to join them. So it's always difficult sometimes.
Mm.
I'm very fortunate to have grown with Isaiah. If you allow me, Isaiah, to say just a little thing about how I knew you were becoming a drunkard and everything. So I was fortunate to grow up with Isaiah from the same area. We started even in the same primary school. And Isaiah was a very bright guy since his primary school days. I never doubted that he will even get to the university and complete his studies as he has done currently. So when the time I knew Isaiah started drinking is at high school. I never knew when we were back in primary. I don't know if he took alcohol when we were in primary because his immediate surrounding where he lived was all an alcoholic place. Let me call it like a slum. We used to live in a slum, a short, like a mini slum, let me say so. Isaiah was my right neighbor. It was like 10 minutes walk from Isaiah's home to my home. So growing in that environment, I didn't know if he tried it or not, but back then we were so focused, if I can remember. So at high school is when I realized he had started taking alcohol. And funny enough, he has confessed that his cousin, this cousin of his, I happen to know him. He was a very brilliant mathematician, brilliant guy. So this guy is the one who introduced Isaiah to alcohol. And fast forward all those years until campus is when I met Isaiah again because he went to a different high school. And then all his life was it was like a, let me not call it a shadow. It was like just an oblivion to me. So we met again in campus, Kenyatta University. Funny enough, I have never witnessed Isaiah drink. Only once when I walked with him to my friend's place is when I saw Isaiah drinking. Otherwise, I never ever saw Isaiah drinking. I think partly is because I was not into drinking and I was very strict with my life. No one around me used to drink. Isaiah is the first guy who drank while I was present. I took him to my friends to watch football and regretted after it because he was tempted to the extent where he took the alcohol, regardless of after we had talked a lengthy discussion of him not taking the alcohol. But as Amos has said, his life in campus was quite up and down. I think he was stressed during his life in campus because of dropping courses. Isaiah, I think you changed courses like 3 times or something. And the fourth time you wanted to take another course, and in some way I told you, no, now this one is too much. At some point, you wanted again to change to a fourth course. And I thought, no, no, no. Now this one is too much. I advised you, but I don't know if it's my advice that worked, but you know yourself. So the thing that really turned your life, which I think that made you an alcoholic, was when you started drinking with one of your cousins in campus, whom I'll not mention, and whom is also my friend, and I wish him the best. I think he has changed by now. I don't know. But that's the time now I also even avoided your company because you had gone overboard. Every day was like a party for you. Every day was, you didn't even have a house. You never paid rent. You disturbed the landlord badly. You never paid him. I don't know how you talked him down, but funny enough, you never ever quitted, and you never, like 6 months, you never paid rent, which was funny enough. And then I knew you were addicted at a point where, at some point, I felt like you are not even eating now. When I met Isaiah, I used to kind of give him some money for food because I felt like this guy is not eating now anymore. Every time he used to be drunk, every time. But I've never met a loyal friend as loyal as Isaiah. He was very loyal, like a true friend where if you call Isaiah midnight, he will show up. If you tell Isaiah, let's do this, he will do it. Now that's what kept me motivated. And unlike Amos, I kept telling Isaiah, no, this is not the right way. I even told him to cut off some people in his life because I thought they were not the right people. There is one of our very close friends that was now Isaiah's enabler. He had a business and he used to fund Isaiah's drinking every day, giving Isaiah money, go drink. So out there, if you're there and you have a friend who you call a friend and funds your bad behaviors, I don't think that's your friend. I don't think at all that's your friend. So back to you, Isaiah. You said you began alcohol through influence. So I think this thing is spiritual in some way. Once you start taking it, I don't think you will stop easily. Tell me about the people you hung around and how they influenced you to start and how they influenced you to continue. Like who how did you meet people of the same feather? How did you meet people who are the same character?
Thank you, God, for that opportunity. I think now, if you start drinking,
Yeah.
uh, it's like now when you just become a thief, you'll only attract thieves. It depends with your mindset. And let me tell you, let me kid you not, drunkards can buy for you alcohol as long as you just turn up in the bar and you know each other. You'll always drink. They don't care if you have eaten or not. You'll always drink on their
Mm,
bill. They will be happy to see you because there's something they associate with you. For me, I was now like they they reached a point. It was like I even at some point people were telling, oh, if I could drink, my guys would tell me, hey man, you're so creative. Hey, what? Hey, it's like at some point I sat down and said, nah, now this is no longer. It's I don't think if it's talent now. This I'm embarrassing myself. Huh? It's like I'm
yeah,
making them happy. You know,
yeah.
it's like I'm making them happy. When they see me, they are happy. I even asked somebody at some point, why are you happy and you have just seen me right now? And you're already happy. Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
Oh, what makes you happy? At man, when I just see you, man, you're funny. That never sat right with me. How am I funny and even have not talked to you? You have just seen me and you have started laughing. I told myself, God, I think now I've already gone. Eh? It's like I'm dead. I'm walking dead. I used to call myself at some time a zombie because now I started now feeling I don't even have feelings. See, but to cut the long story short, how you could find people who drink is now the drinking goes along with watching games. You see,
Yeah.
and back now in Campo, for us we lived the School of Architecture was back in the day in Campo. That's why I was living there. in Campo, we could find that my cousin's teammates, you used to play handball. Almost all of them lived there. So it was easy. Now we became a gang. We could go drink today. It's like just now when you just find somebody that you know in the club, it's Christmas. It was like every day was Christmas, and I was Father Christmas back then. If you could just find us, even in that club, but back then they used to tell you that I think these two own this club or what? Because now we became the DJs. Hmm? We could now mix songs, and even at some point, one day I thought I had lost my phone, only to come and be told that they had kept for me my phone and my liquor from yesterday. I was surprised, and now I started now thinking and say, it has reached this point. Even if I come here with no money, they give me liquor. Am I a loyal customer or a confused fella? And now when back then when I talked to my junior brother, he could just say to me, no, that's what we are doing. That's what we wanted when we started this. I'm telling him now, hey, let me, and you just try and reflect and tell him, I think we should eat now, this 200. And now, and then we just convince each other, no, let us drink it. We'll get money for food later. And now that day could go like that. You have not eaten, you have slept like that. Tomorrow, you wake up, the same thing. Now it reached a point, I was really depressed because, back in the day, even for me to actually uh, struggle in school, it was because I never had at some point I never had anyone who could support me financially. So
Yeah.
it was really hard on me. At some point when I deferred, there's at some point I was very serious. When I had changed my course to urban planning now, I said now let me just focus on this. I started really on a clean slate. I never changed the course that because it was hard. I really never found anything that resonated with me. I felt like campus was like just like a mismatch for me. I never
Yeah.
found fun in whatever they were doing. So when I found out planning, I actually in planning I felt alive. I started classes. I was performing well. The first semester I went to school well. Now the second semester, it's just down to me that I should not continue going to school. Why should I waste my time? I had gone to classes, I had done for the first cut, second cut, and I was struggling only to raise 15,000. By then I was very creative. I can give myself that one. I was a creative man. There is no way that I could fail to pay rent and be ousted out of the house. I was a creative man. There's at this point even my landlord used to fear me. We were just paying six. We used to pay only 6K. But now
Yeah.
my landlord even could call me and say, "Hey, my son, you can come and eat." Quite, I was
You used
really,
to live with the landlord in the same plot.
yeah, we used to live in the same plot. And it was far. Man, that house but it was like my home. I even at some point I have to just go and get that man. He was a cool guy. So the guy could even provide for me food. Even at some point he paid for our internet. He was just like a father.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you remember some things, even you see, even if hell is real, most of us will die. Hey, so I actually stayed there for almost a year without paying. Yeah, and imagine we solved the problem amicably like adults. I now came to a point and agreed that I'm no longer paying it. I did not pay because I don't have the money. I had the money then. I think you had given me a gig. There is a gig you
Yeah.
had given
Yeah.
me of transcription,
Yeah.
writing
Let's
notes.
talk a little bit about that. I think that was the peak of your addiction. So
Eh,
me, in some way, I tend to think about my friends and brothers a lot. Like when you're my friend and we've known each other for quite a while, I tend to think about your life and how you're going through what you're going through. So it got to a point where there's a day before I gave you this gig, I met you and you were drunk and you looked malnourished, sorry to say them. So what I did is I went and bought Isaiah chicken and chips. And then I told him, you can go and share with your brothers. He used to live with his brothers then. And his youngest, not brothers per se, but cousins who have grown up with him in the same house. So they're like his brothers. So, and they used to drink a lot as brothers now. I think Isaiah was now the addicted one among them. So I said, maybe this guy is doing this because he's not busy. He's not doing anything in his life. And then I thought, let me give this guy some job to do. So before I gave Isaiah the first gig, I gave him a job. Funny enough, Isaiah ate all that money and disappeared. That's the funny thing. And then he told me that job is difficult. I cannot do it. So I said, Isaiah, if you say so, it's okay. So I quit on him, first of all. Then on this day before I gave him the gig, when I gave him this chicken, I thought about it and I said, maybe Isaiah is more addicted now because he's living with this guy. So let me give him this gig. This gig was so nice. It used to earn him like almost 30,000 per month. And it's one gig, just one person, just writing notes, like transcribing notes for someone. So what Isaiah did was, he did a good job, in fact. I gave him the client. They used to communicate, agree the price. I didn't interfere with it. So Isaiah did well, but funny enough, Isaiah did not vacate the house. He continued with the gig, making money, but drinking the same money. And at some point, you told me, Isaiah, that you even used to tell the client, I'm not doing this job today. I will do it later. Especially just the date when you are paid, you disappeared. So tell us more about that a little bit.
Now that even for me at first, I thought I'd change when I go to the gig. But funny enough, it's really
Yeah.
hard to change the monkey within the same forest. So when I had the money, when they just paid me, the client used to pay me before I did the work. It was really tempting. I only did at some point. I only did the work because of the respect I had for you. Because I was very tired. I can do the work, but it's like I'm into.
I think that's one of the side effects of alcohol addiction, because now
Wow.
you now become,
No,
like, let's say you are addicted now, you become lazy in some way. You want money but you
it,
don't want to work.
no, you're very lazy. Then I was very lazy, and now you see when I had the money, these guys knew. Now my company, my gang knew that hey, now our guy has become rich man. He has 30K. And he used, no. We must go and pick him. They used to come now for me now in the house. You see how dangerous that is. I'm working. They have come with in Kenya we call it muzinga. They have come with it in the house. They tell me just
Yeah.
sip one, sip one, just test. After testing it, you wake up tomorrow, you're bankrupt. Now I wish hey, you have bought. There's even at some point I bought for people clothes. Now I woke up the other day and said,
Yeah,
which
you
like
don't have a
which like
house. You're not paying rent, but you're buying clothes for people.
the rent, it became difficult for me to pay the rent. When now I had agreed with the landlord, I'm giving him the money on Sunday. And when I went to look for him on Sunday, I have 30,000. I did not see him. I told myself, God has communicated. Let me just go and drink it. There's no need of disturbing the landlord. Let me go and drink it. That's now where the debt started piling. After some point, I now decided, hey, I cannot pay it. Let us just solve these things like adults. I told him, you just let us go. Let us finish this thing like adults. Maybe at some point you might meet in life. I might pay you something, but as of now, I think I'm just piling the debt, and it's not good the way you have treated me like your only son, maybe because the guy had only girls, and by then I it was really hard. It was a very stupid behavior that I had. Now you see, in that house we lived almost three people. Now four. I had now four people that were living in under my roof, and I was not paying rent. Man, hey, alcohol is bad. I think addiction, it's hard for the one who is addicted to know that he's addicted. You see, I was drinking even rent
Yeah, yeah,
and the
that's
money
true.
to buy food. I was drinking it. But I can't blame anyone though. It's like
Yeah,
I just lacked discipline and whatever happened happened. Now I'm just lucky I got the lesson. Some people are still drinking. For me, I don't judge anyone. If it's hard to change, by the way, it's very hard. It's very hard to change.
yeah. So this addiction topic is quite interesting. So let's get to you, Amos. Me, I have my own story about gambling addiction that I'll let you guys know about. So first of all, let's now come to you before we come back to Isaiah, who has more to tell us about how he quit the worst day of his alcohol addiction, the worst part of it. We want to know that all. So back to you, Amos. There is this addiction to someone who was hurting you in a relationship. So some people start a relationship and they don't know how toxic these people are. And some people are so attractive. By attractive, I don't mean their physical being, but just their energy around you makes you feel alive. But again, they are toxic. You cannot quit on this person, but he or she is hurting you. So Amos, tell us your story. What happened to you? How did you meet this girl? I am sure you're not gay anyway. So it's a girl.
Hmm.
I believe it's a girl. So unless you tell us, are you gay?
I'm very
Okay. So how did you meet this girl? How sweet was she? What convinced you she was the right person? And when did you know you were addicted to this person?
yeah. So don't don't know if I can call it a problem. So the issue started back in high school. Yeah,
Yes.
this girl living not in the same area, but next. So unfortunately, we met also at school. Yeah, I don't know. She, she, she had come in our school for tuition, I think. Yeah, so after interacting, we happened to don't know if like I felt in love with her. Don't know about her, but so yeah, after interacting, I fell in love with her, and I opened my heart and I told her about my feelings, and she was yeah like yeah, I am feeling the same, and we can work out. So at first it wasn't that hard because okay, we used to meet like twice or thrice a week because by then I had a phone, but she didn't have a phone. So she used to take her mother's phone. So it started like that, but in the long, like after some times, she was toxic, like she was playing me with another dude, and I didn't know.
She was cheating.
She was like cheating.
Yeah.
So and me, I was falling deeply in love with her. That is what I thought by that. So I remember I started become or I started being obsessed with her. Like initially we were meeting around 3 times a week. Now I started going to her home daily, and in some instances I could go to her home. We meet on the roadside. We even quarrel. I say I'm going back to my home, and midpoint now, almost when I'm almost reaching our home, I sit down, you know, I think about, then I say, where am I going? I go back, I call her, we talk, I ask for forgiveness. Like I was in love to a point that she was the one, like, even after realizing that she was cheating, I was the one asking for forgiveness. This is because I feared losing her, like she had become, was sleeping, I could see her. When I could see her in other girls, like could just see other girls' eyes and say, no, these eyes looks like my girlfriend, but mine are more beautiful than these. So like it was really hard for me to survive. And mind you, I was back still in high school. So it was very difficult to balance love with academics. And yeah, it took me to the age, to a point that as I've said, that even if she wronged me, I was the one asking for forgiveness, because the fear of losing her. If maybe by any chance she said that she wanted to break up with me, I could beg, could go down on my knees, beg her to come.
You
I
are simp.
remember,
Just to cut you short, Amos, just 1 minute.
yes,
Uh, uh, at this point, you were so attracted to this girl, and some people will call you were simping by then. I don't know, but what was so attractive about this girl that made you not want to
Mm.
lose her? Like, what really attracted you to her?
sometimes I even look back and I think that it is witchcraft, because like
Hey.
she wasn't as beautiful as she used to be. But now, back when I couldn't live without her, this girl, like, I can describe her like she had the beautiful eyes you could ever, like me just staring at them, I could get lost. Then,
Hey.
no, as an African man, she has this kind of not big,
Aye. Ah,
good size,
made for
like
speed.
yeah, and then it was like we used to walk down in the road. Then she used to have these boobs. Then, okay, to make
Failure.
matters, so to what was that? I think by then she was well in her village.
Eh.
Everybody was. Then I happened to be, a lover. So, like, I think it was peer pressure. So I was to brag to my the one. Then, so yeah, the energy, that she had good. Uh, she was funny. She really, like, compared to my other girlfriend, she 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 understood me.
Yeah,
Like, she understood what I wanted without even me saying. You know,
yeah,
funny, and yeah. But after breaking up, he didn't sound funny anymore. But I think those are the things that like glued me to her,
yeah.
because at that point, if I could go a day without talking to her, yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember there was even a day where I called her mother and faked my
Mm.
voice and changed my voice
Ah.
to, to, to a girl's voice, just to aware about, so that I can speak to her. But God, they overcome the. But yeah, to some instances, I usually look back and think that maybe I was, like it was witchcraft. But no, it wasn't. It was just me being
Yeah.
of the height. It was just me. loving her, and all I wanted was for her to love me back. But
Mhm.
it didn't happen as I expected because at the end I'm here.
And she's
So
there,
yeah, I don't know
nowhere
that
to be
now
seen.
Yeah.
I'm here with another woman. So like I can say love is really I remember like it reached a point where very disobedient to even my mother. Like she
Mm.
couldn't tell me anything concerning her.
Yeah.
Like I had decided that it was her and her that I wanted. So
Mm.
if anybody could maybe painted her in a negative picture that I didn't want, I think she ended most of my relationship with my childhood friends because if they said anything that oh she was using me, you know, I got angry. I saw
Yeah.
that as a threat to our relationship, and I even thought that they wanted her, which was not the case, but they were just looking after me as their friends. So like love, when you are drunk in love, you know, you can't hear, you can't listen, you can't even see like clearly, like even the flaws of your other significant, you can't see them because yeah, she had some issues, like she was cheating, but as I said, like even if somebody could tell me that oh I have found your girl with another guy, I could say that they were just they were lying. That wasn't true because I trusted her with my life. And if love is a bad thing,
Okay.
but
You know,
back
when you say that, sorry, Amos, sorry. You know, when you say you couldn't hear anyone, you couldn't accept anyone talking about her in a negative way, it's the same thing as alcohol. It's the same thing as alcohol because when you are taking alcohol, and Isaiah can attest, nobody can tell you it's bad, and anybody blocking your way is the enemy. Is it true, Isaiah?
Yeah, that's true. Alcohol used to be my darling. I even would have that time I would even have sung a song for it. It was really enjoyable.
Okay. Now, it's good Amos has brought up this story about toxic relationships because very many people are suffering in toxic relationships. And we shall come back with a very good, I think, the next episode after what we will cover after this one, we shall talk about being stupid in love or in toxic relationships. It's a very wonderful topic inspired by Amos. So, Amos, please keep on. Sorry for interrupting you.
so like I've said, like you know, like anybody who was criticizing this girl negatively, that I will term them automatically as my enemy
Mhm.
because I never see anything bad with her, you know,
Yeah,
all things perfect with her, although she was cheating and she was manipulating. She was very manipulative because she could cheat. Then when
yeah.
I go and confront her about that, she could turn it on me, and I end up being the one asking for forgiveness. I
Yeah.
remember even time, you know, we used by then. I used to have what we call in Kenya mulika mwizi, those small phones. So there was a time I even saw her texting another guy. And when I asked her, she said I was invading her privacy, blah, 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 things of the sort. And I end up asking for forgiveness and promising her I will not repeat the mistake again. But now you see, in really, like in real sense, she was the one on the wrong side. But now
Yeah.
she was, and it's like she knew I loved her too much because she could get away with anything. She could get away with anything just by saying that, you know, if I could maybe confront her about an issue or a problem, uh, she could say that now let's break up, and that term let us break up. Wow, it was very, don't know, intimidating or what. If I just hear let us break up, I could go down on my knees because I never wanted to lose her. Like, for real, me, I loved her and I cared for her and I wanted our relationship to work. But now, to her case, it was like that she was just using me, to
Mm-hmm.
for her finances and for her own benefit. So every time I could point out an issue, she would threaten me with a breakup. I would go back on my words, ask for forgiveness, and yeah, she really acted out until finally, after Form 4, at least there is when I got a little bit of senses and I managed to break up with her. But it was really hard for me. I remember after breaking up with her, I went for days without eating. I really cried, and
Hey,
every time I was tempted to text her. Every time I was very tempted to text her because I believe in second chances, as I said
Exactly.
earlier.
Yeah.
So like,
yes.
I believe maybe out to her,
I
maybe
can see it.
she could change,
Yeah.
he'll be movie and we could work things out. But as Isaiah said, that some people are very hard to change, and she was the case. She was very hard to change, or like she just decided she wasn't changing for me. So at the end, yeah, we parted ways. To me, it was really hard because as a man, I went, I cried. I really cried. If I remember those days, I just feel stupid. But learning is a process.
Continuous, yeah.
Like, I'm very happy because through me, Isaiah has learned a lot, and the mistake that I've made in life, like, Isaiah has used me as a good example, and he has avoided. So I think I'm a good teacher, and I that just same to alcohol or marijuana. When you are addicted to someone, or love is a bad thing when you do it excessively, because it can make you lose your senses. You won't even
Yeah.
be reasonable straight. It impairs your judgment, because at that point, anybody any of my friends say that she was cheating, I could see that as a lie. I saw it as just a way they wanted us to break so that they can go back to her, and I was very overprotective of her. And
Yeah.
I think that really impaired my judgment. I wasn't thinking straight, to a point that I lost myself trying to save our relationship, which she wasn't fighting, like she wasn't giving the same energy. But now the beauty, energy, her eyes, her nyash,
The eyes, Chico, they don't lie.
those
Oh,
me. Like, if I decide, like, let's break up, then I go back home and think about the nyash and the eyes. I pick up the phone immediately and text her, sorry, and yeah, it happens. And the cycle continue, and it reached to a point where I saw that it was no longer beneficial to me, because all I was getting from her was sex and heartbreaks only. You know?
You're
To me,
ungrateful at the sex and
to me, to me, it's perfect.
Cheap
You know,
sex, not only sex.
no, that sex was because it came at a cost of my mental health, my physical. So it wasn't,
And
but
cheating as
okay,
well.
like me, yeah, I wanted like a perfect thing. I imagined like relationship, you know, this
Like that
this
for
next
Patello Nadelo.
stories, I wanted that, but now
But you got for Patello
the
Nadelo.
so like while I was trying, like while I was trying to be the perfect man for her, for our relationship to work. On the other hand, she did the opposite, which made it very hard for me. And yeah, I thank God. And that
Yeah,
girl, when it, let me not say, because she really tormented me for around 3 or 2 years, 3 years.
3 years, I was our
yeah,
kids.
yeah. Okay,
And
Amos, your story is very touching because I can also relate my life with your story at some point, of course. And many people out here can relate your story with their lives as well. Some people don't know they are addicted to some people and toxic relationships. And it's a topic that it's affecting men out here and women. And marriages are a very sensitive topic nowadays. People even kill others or kill themselves for love. So, sorry, I cut you short. There's something you're saying also.
yeah, like I was saying, like reach a point where I was so sensitive that uh, I was even thinking of maybe harming myself or harming her. But now you know, I'm a strong Catholic believer where like we don't believe in killing oneself. So I thought if I wasn't going to kill myself, then I would go on and kill her. But now,
I could have zone kill myself.
and that by now you lost a good point. But now,
I could have
yeah,
killed a
I
lot.
don't just God.
Could have killed a lot of people in real life.
And then I was so young, I didn't even have to do it. The like point where you are very
Hey,
sensitive. I don't know if it's jealous or what, or the fear of losing your other part, but yeah. So
obsession.
like someone lose their mental capability of thinking straight because I can't believe that I was thinking of harming myself. If that there's a girl somewhere who made me think, man,
uh,
like me, that girl really passed me through a lot, but I thank God I finally overcame that. And yeah, look at here now. I'm very happy, very strong, and even ready for another breakup or heartbreak.
how?
You should not be ready for that, Amos. And
the the lessons were supposed to teach you to attract better people, not now again to wish for more heartbreaks. But
My
it's
friend, that
okay.
she was the better person. Like
I
she
remember
she she,
warning you.
she had everything.
Isaiah is the kind of people who said, and I want it. I want it.
It was like warn.
I
But
never
I
wanted
really, I used to diss him, but at some point even he got angry and said that I'm bullying him.
for me, but not
You almost lose him. You almost lost him as a friend.
When we could meet, he could just pretend he's angry so that we cannot talk about it.
but was that girl not beautiful?
She was beautiful, but for me, I saw there are some. For me, I had already known in my life that there are some things that are good, but you cannot have them. It's good to have the you.
Let
It's
go.
just like you just let go. It's just like lying to yourself. I don't.
Me,
At some
Yeah.
point,
I want all the good things now. Like
uh,
there's no. So I was leaving her alone.
Whatever is toxic is not good for you. Yeah, you let it go.
Too much of something, too much of
Yes,
something can become
that's
poison.
why for me, for instance, for me, I always believe then why refuse to why give a person another chance yet there are many people on earth. Let her go so that you can get others also and she can go where she wanted to go, where she wanted
I
to
know
be. If I would
it.
have been giving people second chances, I would never have gotten this my beautiful wife, and she's very kind. I've never seen such a person. I think I would still be a drunkard.
Isaiah, when you are when
Second chances should not be given.
There's this
when
drunk in alcohol and drunk in love.
Hi, blind in love. Not,
Drunk in love. Now Amos was drunk in love.
but
in love,
love is tough. You can kill for it.
but I
Okay.
learned a lot.
But
I,
Amos, allow me to share. At some point, there is a day you told me that you soaked her clothes. You wanted to really torment her.
yes, there's a day, Bwana, she came at my crib. She came at my then as I said, like the sex was coming at at a greater expense of heartbreak. So this day it was a fine evening where she came to visit me. Now she said that she wanted to leave and we had not done the our thing.
Eh,
So I tried to came up with a way that I could make her not to go. So I decided to soak her clothes.
that's creative, man.
Yeah. So she had no other choice but just to stay with me. So by then that night I really enjoyed it. It was to lure her with me, and it
Hey,
really worked.
man.
If you are out there and your girl is trying to she's trying to deny you your conjugal
When to
rights,
go?
try that. Soaking the
Ah,
clothes.
man. You are. Now I get it. That time you are very creative.
Me, I'm always creative. It's just that I was blindly or madly in love, to a point that I lost my senses. But when I'm in my right senses, I'm very creative.
Hey.
Okay. Amos, that's a very nice story from you, and
Hey.
I think we shall come back to you again because that story is quite interesting. We shall come back with a full topic. And it's good you are enlightening people. There's this drunk in drugs and drunk in love. Some
Mm.
relationships, yeah, some relationships seem to be so nice, but addictive, or some people, let me say so. And they have a way, they are called narcissists. They have a way of putting all the blame in you, all the pressure on you, and then you like blame yourself, and then you're stuck in the same cycle. You don't seem to leave your problems. It's just the same thing as alcohol, like Isaiah was saying earlier. So I think we need a part two of this session. And yeah, because there's a lot we have not covered. And I want us to end this session first, then we shall come back to the part two. So viewers, keep tuned as we shall drop the second part of this session in the next episode. So thank you very much, Isaiah and Amos, as we prepare for the part two of alcohol and drunk in alcohol and love. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Odongo.
Ngoja.